we're not making nukes, and yet they attacked us anyway.
They're not making nukes?
They're not.
Oh, interesting. So the actual government official in Iran, and I can show you the video, specifically said, of course we were making nukes. And then the guy that he was speaking with, he's like, this is the first time any government officials admitted to it. Yeah, sure, let's see it. While I pull that up, I'm a nuclear engineer, by the way. So I'd love to ask you, we're here at UCLA University, and I believe striking Iran is America first, and I want to hear what people have to say about that. Let's do something.
So, I think that, what was it, Operation Epic Fury?
Yeah, that's the name of the, yep.
I think it's a mistake.
Okay.
And I think that ultimately you're just destabilizing the Middle East, and you're just going to rope us into a war that America can't really succeed at.
Okay, you just say destabilizing the Middle East?
Even further than it's
already
already
I was going to say,
destabilized.
you think it's not destabilized?
No, it's heavily destabilized.
Can you tell me why you believe Iran is destabilized right now?
Basically, he just wiped out the Ayatollah.
No. Let's say on February 27th, was Iran stable?
No.
Okay, why not?
Because basically you had a theocracy in place, a theocracy that we effectively, not to say that we funded, but it's a theocracy that if you look into the history.
Yeah, Jimmy Carter helped Khomeini get in, that's true.
Yeah. And now
that was in 79.
Even back to that, basically we overthrew the Shah. We overthrew the elected government of Iran to put in the Shah.
You're talking about the coup in 53?
Yeah. So
okay, I feel like that's a lot of excuses for today. I agree with you, but I'm asking you why on February 27th, before the strikes, Epic Fury, tell me why Iran was destabilized. If you were to ask me, their top 5 banks have pretty much all failed or all on the brink of failure, mostly due to corruption, bypassing sanctions they try to do with cryptocurrency, the Iranian government, the IRGC specifically. And people were fed up with that. Not to mention, of course, also the oppression. Masa Amini, you know about her? 2022?
Yeah.
She was the Kurdish woman who they beat to death because she didn't have her hijab on right. And then a lot of women in Iran were taking their hijabs off, and then they slaughtered them in the streets too. Tens of thousands of protesters are slaughtered in days just recently. So how is America's actions and Israel's actions, how would that be destabilizing it further? And even if that's correct, why should that matter compared to the tens of thousands of Iranians that were slaughtered by the Islamic regime?
Effectively, when you go in, fully attack the Iranian government and then kill their leader, you're basically galvanizing their support. For example, when the Shah,
they have about a 10% support rate right now.
Well, basically, when a country gets attacked by another country, right? Basically, the nationalism in that country rises.
It didn't. Yes, the people that were already nationalistic and see Khomeini, especially the Shia Muslims, they see him as a very, very important figure. Sure, they may have had their fervor increase, but equally on the rebellion side, which is, can we agree, is significantly bigger? Can we agree more people hate the regime in Iran? Okay, the rebellion side also, their fervor goes up. So I don't agree with you. I agree with you if you're talking about individually nationalism goes up, but equally that happens on the other side. But even if you are correct, why should that matter?
Ultimately, it's because, if the nationalism if it goes up, right?
Yeah.
Basically, it gives that regime more fuel to hey, this is America. This is why they are terrible. We're not making nukes, and yet they attacked us anyway.
They're not making nukes?
They're not.
Oh, interesting. So the actual government official in Iran, and I can show you the video, specifically said, of course we were making nukes. And then the guy that he was speaking with, he's like, this is the first time any government officials admitted to it. Yeah, sure, let's see it. While I pull that up, I'm a nuclear engineer, by the way. So I'd love to ask you, the over 400 kilograms of uranium that they had, they reached levels of, there were some levels that were up to close to 90% enrichment, but generally speaking, they had 60+% enrichment. Can you explain to me why they were at 60% plus enrichment levels? Because reactors, just to give you an idea, general reactors, about 3 to 5% enrichment is fine. If you want a really nice reactor, 20% is totally fine. Can you tell me why they were at 60% while I pulled this video?
So let's see, to make one reactor, you need 20% or so?
20% is a high-end civilian reactor.
Way, so
yeah, you can look it up, but I promise you, I'm telling you the truth. Now, of course, I was in the U.S. Navy, so those enrichment levels were very high, like 99%, but that's because you're trying to put a reactor onto a submarine. It's very small, and you want it to last longer. But general civilian reactors, 20% is a high end. 3 to 5%, more than enough for reactor levels, which is why Obama's Iran deal limited enrichment levels to, what was it, 3.675% or something like that?
Would you say the Iran deal was an accomplishment? Or?
No, it was awful.
Oh, that was awful.
Because it didn't answer their ballistic missiles program, which was acting as a deterrent against the European powers and Western powers so they can continue their nuclear missiles. Also, the IAEA reports show that they were pretty much violating them anyways, and they always had intentions of doing nuclear weapons. The IAEA report didn't particularly say that, but the findings of them going to 60%, they had IR-6 centrifuges. They were utilizing them. Obviously, Israel and America minimized it by doing stuff like Stuxnet, etc.
Well, ultimately, their ballistic missiles program is like, it's like an arms race, you know? When you're in the Middle East and a lot of your countries, one big country, Israel, is going to threaten to attack you, the theory is that if you disarm your, it's like mutually assured destruction. It's like game theory, where if you get
You're saying
rid
it's a
of,
deterrent.
yeah, it's a deterrent.
Okay, so earlier you said they weren't doing it at all. Now you're saying they were doing it, but
No,
for
we're
the
talking
right
about
reasons.
ballistic missiles, not nukes. I was talking about
Okay,
nukes.
so you want to see it? I have
Yeah,
it right
let's do
here.
it. So who's this?
This is, I have the name. I did look this up. This is the Deputy Speaker of the Iranian Parliament.
Deputy Speaker?
Yeah. So when we first entered nuclear activities, I'm going to say it for the camera as well, our real goal was to build a bomb. No point denying it. You mean the goal really was to make a bomb? Yes, 100%. Whose goal? Certain individuals? The whole system, everyone who started this. Stop. We see that 75% of you guys that watch our videos don't subscribe. So if you enjoy open dialogue, hit that subscribe button. Let's get back to the video. If we could keep it secret and test the bomb, it would be over, just like Pakistan. Once we began, we had to finish it. What you're saying, we've never heard such things officially before. Won't what you're saying affect the negotiations? No one pays attention to what I say anyway. Foreigners will eventually find out anyways. That's an official speaker of the parliament.
All right, so basically, right, now the 60s, Israel gets their nuke, right? Like in this era, Israel has
I
a
mean,
nuke.
sure. They never, yeah,
They
okay.
get a nuke. They get a nuke, right?
Okay,
I don't know
sure.
the exact date, but they get a nuke. And then if you're Iran and you're thinking, okay, Israel has a nuke, they are a country that's very hostile towards us. Basically, they're thinking-
Hostile towards them.
Yeah.
The IRGC's proxy groups have been attacking Israel for decades. When has Israel ever attacked, other than its defense against their proxy groups, ever attacked Iran?
Last week, 2 weeks ago, 3
Right.
weeks ago.
Well, you said before that. I assume you're talking about before that, not just 2 weeks ago. Which, by the way, October 7th was an IRGC proxy group. Do you agree?
I actually don't know much about the Hamas-Israel conflict. So
Okay, Hamas, PIJ are proxy groups of the IRGC. Hezbollahs are a proxy group of the IRGC. By the way, this isn't like conspiracy. Literally, they're admittedly a proxy group of the IRGC. Houthis, proxy group of the IRGC.
All right.
Again, officially proxy group. The missiles, the rockets that Hamas and the PIJ use are from Iran.
All right.
Okay.
So back to Iran.
I just find it interesting that you called Israel the hostile group. That's crazy. But go on, keep going.
No, it's like Cold War. Both of them are actively trying to go against each other. So basically, Iran, yeah, I'm 18.
Oh, you're good, brother. Keep going.
So Iran, they're thinking, all right, so that country has a nuke. That country is not on friendly terms with us. So the way that it's like Nash equilibrium, game theory, the way to get up there is to have a nuke with us.
Okay, so you agree they were building a nuke then?
It's the idea to build a nuke.
Okay, so before you said they weren't building a nuke. Now you're saying, okay, maybe they were building a nuke, but it's because of Israel. Which I can accept that answer. I just want to make sure. Okay, fine, fair enough. So they were building a nuke. Do you agree that the Iranian government, the IRGC...
I'm saying they have reasoning to build a nuke.
Oh, for sure. I don't think anyone builds a nuke for no reason. It's always for a reason. Political power, prowess, whatever.
All right.
My point is do you agree that the IRGC... Excuse me. The IRGC is a direct and indirect threat, not just to the United States of America, but our regional allies.
The IRGC?
Yes, that's the Islamic regime, just so you know.
I think that they're threatened basically in the Middle East. They're a hurdle to the United States' goals in the Middle East. So if you believe that,
Do you think they're a threat to the United States and our regional allies?
Regional allies, well, Israel is one of our allies.
That's one of them. UAE also. I mean, do you understand in a 24-hour period, Iran attacked 15 different countries? Did you know that?
Oh, yeah, it's an offense to. Yeah.
Again, I'm not asking you to necessarily defend or not. I hope you wouldn't, but whatever. My point is that do you think they're a direct threat and indirect to the United States and our regional allies? I'm not asking if you like those allies. I'm asking you, do you agree they're a threat to those allies?
Yeah, they're a threat to them and their goals.
Okay. So you agreed now finally that they're building a nuclear weapon. Regardless of what their reasons are, they're building one. You agree their ballistic missile program is expanding. Do you agree to that?
Yeah, because
Okay.
the war.
Do you agree that their ballistic missile program has already been able to reach Europe?
I actually don't know if
They attacked Cyprus,
Cyprus is in
Europe.
Europe.
It's right by Greece.
Then yeah,
I'm not saying all the way to Germany maybe or France, but Europe.
I actually do not know.
Okay, they can,
So-
right? And then they're developing longer range missiles. Do you agree with that?
They are definitely trying to in
Okay.
order to win the war.
That's all I'm asking. No, not even just for the war. I'm just saying these past years they've been trying to. They've been increasing their range. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So nuclear missiles, you agree. Ballistic missiles, you agree. Increasing range to not just our regional allies like Israel, but our European allies as well.
Right.
Do you agree, would they continue? Let's say we did nothing about it and we allowed them continue. Do you agree they would start to aim for intercontinental ballistic missiles? ICBMs.
Like have the weapons or use them.
Let's start with have.
Have it's one of those things where it's like you have it, but it's in order to like defense.
Okay, do you
It's like
agree that
peace
acts
through
as a
strength.
deterrent that forces us to capitulate to our enemies?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Don't you think that would be America last if we had to do that?
If we get to that point, then it's basically, I guess,
Okay, and so
But
therefore it's in America's interest to not get to that point, right?
Well, it's a thing where if you don't get them to that point, you don't edge them off to get to that point, then it wouldn't happen. So that would be America. You know what I mean?
I don't. Can you expand?
So basically, the idea is that if you constantly like warmonger with Iran, for example, what we're doing right now, then you're motivating them even more
But
to
you-
want to get these missiles.
Wait, hold on. You admitted that they were getting the missiles even before America did this.
Oh, we've been doing this for decades. So
Because
not
who
actually
attacked
fighting.
first? Since the Islamic regime, the revolution in '79, who attacked first? Was it America?
well, it was if you go it far to the 50s, then yeah.
Well, that was before the Islamic regime.
But we motivated the Islam regime to rise through our overthrowing of the
Well,
government.
first off, that was actually more the British with the nationalization of the oil. The British, but of course, we later during the Cold War helped with that and found that. But again, I think it's a little ridiculous to go to a completely different government to try to justify today's government's actions.
We make
I
our
don't
own
buy that
enemies
argument.
through history.
Yeah, but the Islamic regime wasn't even in power. And you think the Islamic regime is doing this because of what we did to the straw? Is that what you're saying?
One thing led to another, which led to another.
No, I agree with the domino effect. I'm talking about the actions of what the Islamic regime is doing with the attacks against America. You're saying they're doing it because of what we did to the Shah? Or the absolute monarchy?
No, it's more or less.
Okay, so it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
So back to what I was
I won't say it's irrelevant, but I'm saying
Well, no, it's
in
relevant.
a timeline.
It's relevant to say how did we get to the Islamic regime,
Yeah.
but it's irrelevant to my question about the Islamic regime's actions today.
Alright.
So, you're doing fine. So if they're building these long-range ballistic missiles, at very best, you're right that they never use them, but they force us to capitulate, which is bad for the United States. That's the best case scenario. And obviously the worst case scenario would be them, I guess the worst case would be them using like a nuke, right? And then everything in between, maybe not the nukes, but some ballistic missiles, or maybe they attack, Israel. I'm guessing you don't like Israel.
I think that they're a country that has done a lot of atrocities,
Like what?
like what they're doing with Gaza, where they're basically cutting it off and basically doing all that,
Cutting it off like their borders.
cutting off all the aid.
They cut off all the aid. There was over 2 million tons of aid that went into the Gaza Strip, which
No,
is
but
by
they're
far,
actively making it worse.
it's gone up since the ceasefire, the aid rates. Just so you know,
Talking
there's
about
more,
the actual war.
right, there was more aid that was sent in the 2 years than any urban warfare conflict pretty much in history, maybe other than the aid dropping we did post World War II, maybe, and even that's probably close to the same amount. Other than that
The
one,
Marshall Plan.
not quite. It was actually a separate thing, but it was within that. But nonetheless, other than that, Israel has sent in more aid. Saudi Arabia has cut off aid from Yemen for 10 years, 5 times the amount in Gaza. And Israel has sent more by far in 2 years into Gaza, which is significantly smaller than all the aid Saudi has allowed into Yemen in 10 years. So if they're doing these atrocities, I mean, I guess everyone in history, has done atrocities. Anyways, well, back to Iran, do you support the Islamic regime? Okay.
I don't support any theocracy.
Okay, fair enough. That's a totally fair answer. So you're more secular.
Yeah, I'm a
Okay.
secular person.
Totally fair.
So yeah.
And so what would you have done if you were in the position as president of the United States? So let's say you did the same thing Donald Trump did. He exhausted negotiations almost to an extreme degree. What would you do from there, especially knowing tens of thousands of Iranians were slaughtered in the streets for protesting? In days.
So I'll do, you know, economic stuff, economical.
They already did that. They have sanctions in.
All right, yeah, I've lost.
No, it's just
Oh,
a
so
conversation.
I
What would you
actually
do? So that's a good answer, but they did it. So let's say, okay, sanctions are put in. We also know Iran was avoiding sanctions by using cryptocurrency, but you did it. Now what? They're still slaughtering
they're not doing anything. They're not. So you're saying after these sanctions, they're still killing people.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is true. It's
Yeah,
true.
100%.
The answer is to that, honestly, like, just see. It's one of those things where I don't know. There you go.
All right. Wow, that was a great conversation. If you guys want to see more great conversations and more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. Let's do something.